T-shirts, toys, and of course the tons of games that came out after it. The sequels, the golf games, the Mario parties, the Mario Karts. It all exploded. Big thing ever since Super Mario Bros. Came out originally. Pretty much 200 games came out after this smash hit video. It made an impact, and most of them consist of the same gimmick of Bowser kidnapping, traveling through many worlds. You can see it's bubbly, happy, all colorful, sunshine and rainbows and all. Characters like in Odyssey are literally waving you good luck. Everyone is just positive. And that premise has pretty much stayed the same for most Mario games, except for one, Super Mario 64. Let's go! It was a game changer for the gaming industry, as it was one of the first games to use the 3D format, a classic game to be loved and remembered by many. Now, after all those warm welcomes, you start the game. You soon realize this game is quite not like the others. Vibrant scenery or characters to greet you, none of that. You are alone. And as you go through the castle doors, entering, you realize that it will be the same way, this entire gameplay. Many people have expressed through their own playthroughs through this game that Super Mario 64 has always had a certain feeling about it, but it could never be explained. Why? Or what is this? A feeling that is unnerving, almost creepy. How could this be shared by so many people? And even maybe you have felt it yourself while playing through this game. Well, here are a couple of reasons why this may be the case. Each copy of Super Mario 64 is personalized. Now, it's a popular theory. Of course, it's a theory and we know it is disproven, but no video or mentioning of Super Mario 64 would be right without this. Whenever Super Mario is brought up, one of the main things that are thought of is this theory of this game being able to connect with each player, which people believe why is the reason when they play this game, someone else's console or their version, whatever it is, it just doesn't feel the same way as they played it. And of course, I have to say again, it's just a theory, has been proven, but it's also quite popular in the Super Mario 64 community, spawning creepypastas like the Wario apparition, many others to foster from this theory. And in fact, people who don't get explained this may actually think this is the reason why this game is unnerving. When it's more of a, when you have one of those moments when you remember something memorable from your past, but you don't quite frankly know it 100% to the spot, your brain adds some things that may have not actually happened just to fill in those blurry gaps. That is basically what could have been happening to each player who thought they had a personalized game. Number 2, you are alone. Like I said at the beginning of this video, other Mario games you can walk around, you can see characters sprawling, walking around, characters from friends to enemies, have conversations with them, just so many different capabilities. Of course, it can't be too difficult on this game because of its limitations. They really had to only make do with what could fit in for what the system could handle at the time. This game still feels different from the rest of them. You start the game outside, you look around, there's nothing, it's completely quiet. Sometimes you can hear distant sounds of birds. You run throughout the whole castle, and besides a few toads sprawled around it just to say quip-bit little notes to you, that's it. You're alone, completely empty, which gives this game eerie feeling. Kind of like when you join a Roblox server and there's no one in it. Or kind of like when you play Minecraft and you take a moment to look around and it's barren. It's only you, which gives an odd feeling. And even though you know you're alone, it still feels like there's something or someone watching out there. I played this game as a child. More specifically, I played the Super Mario 64 version for DS. Besides a couple character additions and Bowser looking way better than how he used to, pretty much the same experience. And my memories of this game were pretty great. Of course, I was a child and I didn't understand eerie feelings, of course, except for like probably being in the dark, or like of course a jump scare. Replaying this game, I had that lonely feeling. Besides a couple parts here and there where there is a little bit of population, that feeling stayed persistent through the entire gameplay. Number 3, creepy characters. Now the most talked about character in Super Mario 64 that scared many people, when you would enter Jolly Roger's Bay, you dread entering the water because you knew what would approach And even worse, when you didn't know what sinister act was waiting for you in that ship. When you approach that ship, you basically get jump scared by a giant eel. I personally was never afraid of the eel. I know, so edgy, so fearless. Now what I did fear will most likely be not shared by many of you. There's like no reason to fear it, but when I went to the outside garden area, you have to go through either 2 doors on the side of the castle to walk out through the hallway to the garden. And there, before you reach the ghost in the garden, you have to pass a giant boo. And I know he doesn't attack you, but when I opened that and didn't expect it there, I got jump scared. Speaking of boos, another most highly regarded jump scare was that man-eating piano. When you approach it, it would suddenly chomp at you. Now again, this one never scared me, but possibly for the fact that I never made it to this level. It wasn't necessary, I think. I just went to the outside of the level when entering that cage, and on the outside didn't even enter the mansion. I decided that was enough right there. That level, even the music of it was terrifying, which will be talked about later. Apparently some are even creeped out by the chain chomp, which honestly, from the entire enemy list of all the Super Mario games, chain chomp is kind of my favorite because he's literally like a dog. Another one is that random eyeball that is in some worlds just staring at you, following you in each direction you go. It's just an eyeball, but still, it has a creepy approach to it. Number 4, the feeling of sadness. If you've ever played a Mario game like Super Mario Odyssey, you will be dazzled by the many kingdoms, the exploration that can be done throughout them, and peaceful locations like the Wooden Kingdom. And also the music is just amazing, like in Fossil Falls. Just so soothing, you could even fall asleep to that. Now you might say you can't compare a game that was released a long ways away from when Super Mario 64. Well, fair. So how about a game that was just a couple years? In 2002, Super Mario Sunshine. Released on a newer console, but we're not here to check specs. Why do I bring up Super Mario Sunshine? Well, besides being created a couple years after Super Mario 64, you walk around through Delfino Island, it is sprawling with life and colorful, literally, because it has a paintbrush. I mean, that city looks so colorful, it looks like it belongs in a literal coloring book. But in Super Mario 64, those colors turn grim, like in the basement with murky grayish colors. Water on the floor, the painting of lava, the saddish green water of Jolly Roger's Bay. But one thing, while yes, I'm talking about how they're bleak, one thing that saves Jolly Roger Bay, I will say, is the music. That is the one saving thing of that level. It may have given nightmares to some children and it may look grim, but that level has soothing music. I mean, if you've listened to it, it is relaxing. There are literally hours versions, and I've seen meditation videos with that music. People could literally get high and listen to that music, and they'll feel like they're on another dimension. Although the same can't really be said about the next one, the Bowser fight. No, I'm not talking about the first battle. That one is an absolute banger. Like, if I were a criminal and were committing crimes, that would be in my top playlist. That song literally wants to make you turn evil. It's that good. But I rest my case with that song. The one I'm talking about is the final battle. I mean, the music from the final battle literally sounds... Of course, it's the final battle, so we weren't expecting ice cream and popcorn. I did say this one would be brought back up again. So here it is. The haunted house music. Just everything about this level is eerie and terrifying. The music for this world, or painting, literally sounds like the underworld. I just never liked this level. And never did, even in the DS version where Luigi is trapped in there. He better hope someone stronger than me comes along to save him, because it ain't me. And for our 5th and final reason would be the game mechanics, which at first glance wouldn't seem like a big deal. But each little fact in this video helps to propel the fact on how this game is somewhat sinister. Again, you wouldn't believe mechanics in a game make it creepy, but these ones can really take the stage. Like, when Mario dies in game. Now, I want you to picture this. You're on your last life, you're making it through the level. Stakes are all up. Somehow, you die. It wasn't meant to be. And now, what you're used to in these Mario games, you'd expect just him to fall off the screen, and the game being generous and granting you another chance at a checkpoint, but no. Instead, you see Mario fall down with X's in his eyes and Bowser's evil laugh in the distance. He got what he wanted. It's over, you failed. And also, it's the same thing when you're underwater, but you get an animation of Mario drowning. Now, since we're talking about losing the game, you can't lose a game, literally, without a game over scene, which is our next stop. Now, when you die, you know when you boot up the game, you see a blue background, Happy Mario. Now, change that to a red background with music and a failure tone playing in the background, putting more emphasis on your great failure. This whole video would never be certified without the next one. And I really didn't have an idea of where to put it. It could have fit in many areas. It had a tone for sadness. It had a tone of loneliness. It had a tone of pretty much everything, which is why this level gets mentioned so much. Yes, I'm talking about Wet Dry World. There has been countless talk about this level, so we won't be here for too long. This level, even though I have said they all feel lonely, this level has been a mystery for a long time. Now, there has always been this mystery of the painting of a city or a town, which once again shows that this world's purpose is odd. While there are many questions over this painting, there is a story that we will never know. The endless staircase. When you finally made it to Bowser's final level, one obstacle to face you before you reach the Bowser final level. A long red staircase that when climbed it seems like it's endless. Add Bowser's creepy laugh in the distance, a distressing music tone, and the dark void beyond just adds to that sinister feeling of this game mechanic. That brought us to our final stop on this video. Now, with everything discussed about Super Mario 64, this game is still great. It has many great things. There is still literally an active fan base for this game, even after years have passed. And people are still trying to speedrun this game, trying to beat the person that holds the fastest playthrough of this game. There's even been people cheating to get this title. And like I said at the beginning of this video, this game was revolutionary through the 3D technology it used. And besides all those points that have been said, many people around the world saw this game and played it and had a great experience with it and had many good memories. But still, even with that, I would like to remind everyone, let's not forget the sinister that lies within.